Juggalo some recovery, man.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Sober. I know I haven't made a video in quite a long time, and the carnival has made it aware to me by giving me COVID and making me get stuck in a hotel for a week that now I've got time. So, I'm doing okay. Nothing to worry about. I'm healthy. I'm happy. Got a cough and some runny nose stuff, but other than that, I'm good. What do we want to talk about today? Well, before we even get started, I want to thank you all for supporting Juggalo in Recovery. If you like these videos, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe, and share them to your homies that you think could use the message. Let's cover honesty today. Not honesty with other people, honesty with yourself, being honest with who you are and how you are and how things affect you. I had been struggling with this for a while. Being honest when you are so used to bottling everything up and pushing everything down so you can put on that fake smile and that fake face, your mask, to show the rest of the world that you're doing okay, and then turning around and having to be honest with yourself. It can be very hard. So, something that I've learned something I've learned since I've been sober, especially the last couple of years, is learning to accept who I am and how things affect me, whether I realize it or not. When I got into my current relationship, I never dealt with a lot of the things from my past. I heard this saying once, and I'm paraphrasing because I'm not good at memorizing what other people say. Basically, it said that if you don't deal with or heal from your past relationships, that trauma will be brought up and out in your next relationship. And for me, that was and is 100% true. I had done a lot of things that ended up hurting myself and others, and I had some things done to me that hurt me mentally and emotionally and caused me a lot of pain and PTSD reactions to things that I didn't realize because I lived alone for so long. See, when I lived alone, I lived in my own little world. I didn't have to deal with anybody if I didn't want to. I didn't have to deal with anything inside me if I didn't want to. I was able to find things that allowed me to be constructive and happy, but they also shielded me from all the pain that was built up inside. And that is not healthy. So I didn't realize it either when I was living alone. I was happy. I was doing whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, however I wanted. I wasn't accountable to anybody. Then I get in this relationship, and now I'm not only accountable to my now wife, but I'm a role model to this child as well. And that's a big change for someone who's been living alone for years. And it took a toll on me, it really did. I had a lot of painful growth over the last few years. A lot of things I realized that I was doing for other people that I haven't done for my wife or son. A lot of things that affected me that I avoided because subconsciously I knew it would cause me pain, I ended up having to deal with in this relationship because I didn't deal with prior to it. Just because it doesn't bother you in the moment doesn't mean it's not going to bother you when you don't want it to. So here is Alright. Alright. So let's say in one of your past relationships you were cheated on. Of course, with anybody, that's going to build trust issues. So, first thing is you have to accept that that was only one person's thing. We need to be able to accept what's happened by the people who caused our pain. Once we accept that that one person, and we deal with this at one person, one trauma at a time, once we realize and accept that that one person hurt us in that way, we also need to accept that not everybody is going to treat us that way. Our internal defense mechanisms some of our internal defense mechanisms are caused by past trauma. Whether it's yelling or people cheating on us or physical abuse, whatever the case is. We mentally want to protect ourselves. It's a natural human thing that we do. So, what we need to realize, to be brutally honest with ourselves about, is that not everyone is going to be like that. We cannot treat people in our lives like they're going to treat us like the toxic people treated us. And that's a huge thing to try to grasp and understand if you're not willing to, because you're scared of being hurt again, which is natural, but it's unhealthy. I've gone over fear before, and there's good fear and there's bad fear. And one thing about humans is that we need to be able to understand the difference between healthy and unhealthy emotions and feelings. So when it comes down to the fear of being hurt, some of us build up these walls that end up hurting us even more, and we keep wondering why we're in the same toxic circle of finding these abusers and people that end up hurting us. And the reality is that we haven't healed or learned anything from our past, so we can't move on yet. To be able to stop that cycle, we need to take a break from the relationships and focus on ourselves, on self-love and self-care. Some people can do this without therapy, others need therapy. And it's okay. I've been in therapy. I've done couples therapy. Therapy is something great for everybody if you need it. And that's up to you to decide. Now, one thing we need to realize is that when we start having fear control who we deal with, what we do, how we see things, what we avoid, what we are drawn towards, that is the moment of realization that we need to pay attention to. We need to be self-aware of it. If you are self-aware of your trauma and what it's caused in your brain, mentally and emotionally, then you are able to change how you see it by working on it. So as I was saying, someone cheated on you, and you get into a new relationship, and this relationship is with a person who is very independent and wants to do their own thing and doesn't tell you where they're going or who they're hanging out with, and you don't know their code for their phone, or you might automatically think that they're hiding something from you. The way I've dealt with this is I've communicated, sometimes good, sometimes not, but I feel that the best way to deal with this with your partner is to sit down and have a heart-to-heart with them and explain to them what you've realized is going on in you. Explain what's caused your trauma. Talk about how it's affected how you deal with situations or see situations. Like for me, I've been cheated on in the past, and my wife is a very, very independent woman, and she's very extroverted and I'm very introverted. She likes to go out and hang out with friends and just be outside with other people, and I can't do that for very long because I just get worn out. Now, even now, years into this relationship, I still have moments to where I forget that she is not any of the people in my past, and I project my past onto her, and I start questioning what she's doing, who she's with, and if I allow myself to go down those rabbit holes, it tends to be a very toxic conversation. But if I communicate to her what's going on with me, it allows her to understand what I'm dealing with and what I'm trying to heal from. And it just takes time and understanding of yourself to know that this person is not anyone else. They are their own person, and you have to treat them accordingly. Which basically means you can't treat them like they're going to cheat on you. You can't treat them like they're going to reject you or break your trust or something like that. You can only treat them as a human being who deserves respect and understanding and care and love until they treat you otherwise. Now, this is not saying that if you're with someone that's... No, I'm not even getting into that. The point to this is to let you all know that you cannot allow fear of pain, mental, emotional, or physical pain, to control you. Excuse me. If it starts controlling you, you're going to want to start controlling your surroundings. That is one way it does come out, at least it does with me. And if you start feeling that way, it's because you're insecure and you feel the need to have that control so you know what's going on at all times. The reality is you're never going to have that right. You don't have the right to know what's going on at all times. And even verbally saying that out loud right now, it kind of sucks just thinking about it. But it's also freeing. If we go back to the serenity prayer, and yes, it's a prayer, but it's got a good message. It says, grant me the serenity to accept things I cannot change. So grant me the peace of mind to understand what I can and cannot change. The next line is the courage to change the things I can. So I think that's self-explanatory, but the best way I can put that is help me be able to change the things that I'm capable of changing, and the wisdom to know the difference. Being able to tell the difference between what you can and can't change, having the courage to change the things that you can, accept the things that you can't, will help you in everyday life. So, to the hypothetical of dealing with someone, dealing with your past, of someone cheating on you, and dealing with a current relationship or future relationship, you cannot change the past. What can you change? You can change on the people you deal with. You can change how fast you get into relationships. You can change how the lack of control in a relationship affects you. You can change your attitude towards not having full control in that relationship. And there's so many other things. And now, it's up to you to change those things. So, the moral of the story is, when it comes to going through and dealing with your past traumas, you have to be self-aware. You have to be willing to accept your past. You have to be willing to learn from it. You have to actually do something to change how it affects you currently. And you have to be aware in everyday situations if something is bothering you because of your past, or if it's actually something wrong in the current situation. And it tends to be a lot. But the more that you do this, the easier it's going to get over time. The world is a very interesting place. Things change all the time. It's the only thing in life that is constant is change. Be willing to accept it. Be willing to go with the flow. Be willing to learn from your past and expand your horizons in the future. If you have some goals, go and conquer them. Start working towards them. You got this. Don't forget, you're loved, you're cared for, and we got your back. Whoop whoop.